Hey guys, it's Jess and welcome back to my channel. So as you probably can tell from this title, this is not my usual video that I post, but it's one of the first of many to come because I am changing my direction of this channel. Obviously it's going to be a lot about travel and food, but I want to incorporate more lifestyle and, sit down topics such as this. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. And if you hear any noises in the background, it's my dog Murphy, so I'm just warning you right there. So yes, if you can tell by this title, this is kind of my story of anxiety and how I have overcome it and how I deal with it with all the traveling that I do. And so I'm gonna have to start from the beginning. So I battled with anxiety since I was probably about 12 or 13. And at that time, there wasn't a whole lot of coverage, I guess you could say, or information on anxiety. And I felt just kind of, if you've ever had anxiety, you know that you feel kind of like out of your skin or out of your body, and you have this constant fear and you don't know what the fear is about. You're just always on edge and you don't want to do anything. Anxiety and depression pretty much can go hand in hand, which I have dealt with that in the past as well. So anyways, throughout middle school and high school, I was sick a lot, but mainly sick with stomach aches. And I didn't go to school a lot because I never felt like getting out of it. And when I was at school, I did have a few panic attacks, anxiety attacks, but again, I didn't know what that was. I always thought something was wrong with me and that I was just sick, that I just had stomach issues. And so, I did have some people in my life that just didn't accept that, and they also didn't understand what I was going through, but more I didn't understand what I was going through. I didn't know why I was feeling the way I was feeling, why I didn't want to hang out with my friends, why I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to go to school, but I physically couldn't. I just felt a fear of so many things, a fear of other people, a fear of how people will judge me. And being a teenager, it's hard enough as it is. So yeah, it was really rough. People say that your teenage years are the best years of your life, and they definitely weren't for me because I was dealing with that for so long. About when I was a junior in high school, it got worse, and I was starting to deal with depression, and I reached out to my parents, and luckily they were so supportive, and they got me help. And I talked to a therapist for a few sessions, and I was just I told her all about how I was feeling, and I was so confused why I didn't want to leave my bed, and why I didn't want to go places that a normal teenager would do. I wasn't involved in anything at all, and I wanted to so bad, but I just couldn't. There was something in me that I couldn't do it. I was just afraid. And then so she diagnosed me with anxiety, and I got on some medicine, and that seemed to help, I guess, but not really. So then senior year of high school was when I decided that in order to heal myself, I had to make some actions. So I joined the tennis team, and I loved that. One of my best friends was on the team, and it got me active, and I made new friends, and I did something that I normally wouldn't have done, and that really did help me because I formed other relationships, and I proved that I could do something that I thought I never could. And then another thing that I took a chance on was I love to sing, but I still have pretty bad stage fright. But again, one of my best friends and I picked up guitar around that year. I picked it back up again, and I started playing and singing, and that's kind of how I dealt with my emotions at that time as a teenage girl. There's a lot of emotions going on. But my friend and I, we sang together, and we sang at our talent show, and I mean, like, we killed it, man. Like, we did awesome. And that was another thing. We sang the song Fearless by Taylor Swift, so that was, that says a lot right there. That kind of captures the whole feeling of being fearless and facing your fears. So that was awesome. So senior year got better. And then in college, it got worse because all of my friends left to go away to college, and I didn't. I stayed and I went to a community college. I really wanted to go away, and for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. There's financial, issues with that, and something held me back and I couldn't go. It was God's plan all along, but we'll get into that later. So yeah, a lot of my friends went away to school and I stayed, and then I felt really alone. I started having, feeling really anxious in my classes every time I went. I actually went to school a lot more in college, like all the time. And I guess maybe because there was more flexibility and I was feeling a little bit more independent, and I guess that helped with my anxiety, but I felt really alone, and I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere in my life. That also goes back, I had really low self-esteem. I never thought I was good enough, but I also had some manipulative friends in my life in high school that told me I wasn't good enough, or why do you do this, why do you do that, or told me I was a certain thing, and I believed them. So that had a lot to do with my anxiety as well, because I felt like I wasn't good enough. But I'm now realizing this is like really emotional to talk about. All right, yeah, wow, I didn't expect to get all emotional. Okay, so in college I was battling with trying to find myself, and as all, that's such a standard quote to say, I'm trying to find myself, but I really was. And I just couldn't find something that I was into. So I was just kind of coasting by, and still dealing with anxiety on a daily basis and my low self-esteem. When I was 20, so a backstory. So in high school, or my whole life up until I was 20 years old, I really never had a real boyfriend. I never was really in love with anyone. And then I met Dominic, my now husband. And gosh, this whole thing is so emotional. It's like my whole life story, and I'm not, I guess it's okay to be vulnerable. So yes, I started dating my husband when I was 20 years old. I knew him since I was 16, and he really got me out of my shell. I got him out of his shell too, because I'm outgoing and he's, more laid back, but he made me feel, not only did he, help, not only did he show me my worth, but he helped me discover, on my own that I am worthy of love and that I can do anything. So this is turning into a whole different way than I thought. I didn't think I was gonna get so emotional. So yeah, I'm very, very thankful for him, and he was the best thing that ever happened to me. And he is the reason why, it's all connected somehow, because he's the reason why we're traveling and get to live the life that we do. And then ultimately I was able to face my anxiety head on and overcome it. You can hear my dog in the background. Oh my God, So now that I introduced you to my husband Dominic, he got a great opportunity to move abroad and work abroad. And we were dating at the time, and I knew he was gonna go away, but you know, we stayed together and our love just kept growing, and eventually we got engaged. And he found out that we would be moving to Tbilisi, Georgia, which is a completely unknown world of mine. But I want to get more into my story in another video because we'll be here all day. But flash forward, we moved abroad. I have never left the country before other than Canada, which he was the first person to take me to Canada. And I've never been on like a really long haul flight. And my first long haul flight was to move to a completely different country, a post-Soviet country, a third world country, and it was freaking scary. And I dealt with a lot of emotions with leaving my family, but I was, you know, really strong and just did it for love. And I got there and it was really hard. I didn't have a job. Had crazy culture shock and homesickness, and it was hard. But being, you know, I was afraid. You know, I did something that was like a lot of people are afraid to do, and I just did it. And that was a stepping stone of me, you know, facing my anxiety, because life is so friggin' short, and the way things are going in this world, I know that you all know that. So when you have an opportunity that comes up and it freaking scares the living shit out of you, you should probably do it. And so I did it. And I moved abroad with my husband when I was 22. Well, he wasn't my husband at the time, we were just engaged, and never lived on my own. Lived on my own with him. Never lived with another man besides my father and my brother, and lived with him. Didn't have a job, where I had a job since I was 15 years old, my independence, and I got rid of all of that, okay, to do this. And like I said, it was freaking hard at first, but it really made me who I am. So we were there for 2 years, and we had a lot of ups and downs there, and it really helped build me and show me that, holy crap, I can do anything. You know, anxiety doesn't have anything on me because I control it. It does not control me. I can do anything, and it's all about how I handle the situation. And if I don't like something, if I don't want to be somewhere, just leave. You know, you can always come home. But I didn't come home because I loved it. I loved this lifestyle of traveling and meeting new people and discovering new things. And if I didn't take that risk and face my fears, I wouldn't be where I am today. So then we moved to Belgrade, Serbia, which is another hidden gem that I love, and you probably can tell from my other videos. And that's when I realized that I am where I need to be and facing my fears. Anxiety is still a part of my life, but it's not a big part of my life anymore. Because I guess the moral of the story that I'm trying to say is, if something scares you, you should probably do it. If you have an opportunity to move somewhere, do it. Because if it doesn't work out, you can always come home. But more than likely, it's going to work out, and it's in the universe's plan, it's in God's plan, however you want to look at it. But, you know, anxiety and depression is the devil's work, you know what I mean? Like, it's not meant to be a part of your life, and you can totally overcome it. And I'm an example of it, because I, you know, flourished when I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I know my worth now, and I know I can do anything. I know I'm great at things, and I love myself now. And anxiety and other people telling me that I wasn't good enough, they're no longer a part of my life, because I'm not allowing that. And I know this video is all over the place, but otherwise it would have been like an hour long. But I'm, you know, definitely want to talk more about this subject, and you know, maybe specifically any, you know, I can talk about certain anxiety stories that I've went through, or, you know, how I've learned to love myself and learned to know my self-worth, and also how I deal with anxiety when I am traveling, because it does happen, because it is, you know, it can be a scary situation in today's world. So if you want me to talk more in depth about it, I'm definitely willing to do so. And I just want to thank you for watching. I know I was extremely vulnerable in this situation, but I kind of want to take this kind of turn with my channel and open up and help people, not only influence them to travel and, you know, try different things, but to influence them in more ways than one. So yeah, thank you for listening, and just remember that you are worth it. You are worth facing your fears, and you can do anything. And anxiety, or a person, or depression, or anything you're going through has no control over you, okay? You have control over it, all right? So I will see you guys in my next video, and I love you.